If they can threaten retired judges, what about lowly journalists? So friends, as I said, lights are dimming on democracy and on freedom of expression.
अभी बदत है भाई, अभी बदत है.
Just a small anecdote of how we are all children of money in one sense. I didn't mean to give away his age by saying that. He doesn't look a day older than 95. But at the alumni meet in St. Stephen's College, the one preceding him was ex-Foreign Minister Natwar Singh, and he got very soggy-eyed, and he wrote in the register that everything I am today, I owe it to this college. And then he went away and Mani followed him, and then Mani scribbled underneath what Natwar had written, why blame the college? So that's... Even a drunk acupuncturist deliver less pain per square inch than the arguments that we've heard so far from the other side. The reason for that is, and abhi to sai bhi baki hai, but let me start off by saying that we believe what we see, but unfortunately what we see is increasingly being written by people who see what they believe, and that is what the media is. They are seeing what they believe. Journalism is justice delivered without the courts. It is a public good. It is as important as delivering justice. And I'm stating the obvious here, but the tragedy is that most of the journalists that you see are busy peddling narratives. They have become activists. They're not balanced anymore. They're not objective anymore. Even in science, that the moderator talked about COVID. And I say, please do not bring politics into science, because all then you would end up with is political science. But and there's nothing wrong in that. But there are a dozen, I don't know how much time we have, whatever X time I have, I'll take 30 seconds more than that. But the fact of the matter is, I can bust a dozen narratives, fake narratives over the last 8 years that have been peddled. And Sai can maybe bust a dozen more narratives. Talked about BBC, talked about Bofors, and he talked about how well-meaning and gracious the government was. I don't need to open that Pandora's box. I don't need to tell you how much stress and how much draconian measures were put under Chitra Subramaniam when she was doing the story of Bofors by Rajiv Gandhi and the PMO. I don't need to tell you when Mani talks about the BBC and saying we didn't ban the BBC film. Right, you didn't ban the film. You banned the BBC for 2 years. And it wasn't under the emergency. It was before the emergency. 2 years. So, and this is the problem with journalism. It somehow, over the last 8 years, it is giving the impression that everything bad that is happening in this country is happening for the first time. That before 2014, India was a Garden of Eden. Everything was perfect. And then we had this Cambrian explosion, that everything that could go wrong, except for a nuclear explosion, which we don't even know, maybe some newspaper would report a nuclear explosion has also happened. Everything that could go wrong has gone wrong. Let me pick up the other thing that Mr. Kulkarni talked of. His exact expression was, lights are dimming. Honestly, they seem pretty bright to me out here. Democracy is under threat. Democracy is under threat. This is ridiculous. And I'll prove it. And this is the last fake narrative that I'm going to bust, and before I pass it on to Sai. This democracy is under threat. The biggest test of a functioning democracy, and my good friend Salman would agree because he's in the court, he's an eminent lawyer, are two things. The independence of the Supreme Court and the independence of the Chief Election Commission. Other than these two things, everything else is at the mercy of our constitution. And I put it to you, I don't know what will happen to me once I say this, that we have been a banana republic ever since we became a republic. Our constitution does not respect freedom of speech and expression, period. And whatever little it did was then soon trampled within a few years by Nehru's First Amendment. I'll come to that in a minute. Chacha ji ki baat karunga abhi. The fact of the matter is that all those who say democracy is dead, lights are dimming, and everything is happening for the first time, this assault on democracy, sedition charges, anti-national. Do they even know that under the UPA, and I'm not talking of Indira Gandhi emergency, and one doesn't need to go as far back as that. Let's go back only 8 or 9 years. Under the UPA, it filed 12,000 sedition charges on activists. 8,500 on the same day. And the then Home Minister, Mr. Chidambaram, yes, when he was asked, why are you doing this, he said, and I quote him, these are all anti-nationals. आपके anti-national. और आज के जो चल रहे हैं anti-national, उसका क्या? There are so many other examples like that. And what does it even need to go back to the UPA days? Chhattisgarh government, Congress-ruled government, they slapped a sedition charge on a person who complained of a blackout, a power cut. They filed a sedition charge under him. So many things are happening right now in Congress-ruled states. But democracy is flourishing there. In Bengal, a non-BJP ruled state, a chemistry professor shared a cartoon of Mamata Banerjee. He was arrested. 2 weeks ago, this news, we don't even know because the Telegraph is all very prim and proper and doesn't want to go against Mamata. He was acquitted after 11 years. A chemistry professor. 11 years. Democracy is flourishing in Bengal. So, when we are this selective, we need to answer ourselves more than we can answer the public. So yes, all these things are happening. In fact, the most iconic phrase in the last 10 years that has been coined has been by Mr. Arun Shourie, when he says that all the BJP is Congress plus cow. And AAP of course is Congress plus Lamao, LMAO, but that's another matter. The problem in this country, nobody tells you these facts. People only tell you one-sided stories, like, for example, that Nehru was the paragon of liberty and freedom. Everything else, Indira Gandhi might have done emergency, but Nehru nahi. Chacha Nehru didn't. Let me take the next couple of minutes and tell you what the status of freedom of speech and expression under Pandit Nehru was. Jawaharlal Nehru. The First Amendment was brought in. Reasonable restrictions, incitement, disruption of public order. Who decides who is disrupting public order through freedom of speech? Poet Majru Sultanpuri was jailed for 1 year for calling Nehru Hitler ka chela. 1 year. One of our greatest songwriters and poets rotted in jail. Did you know that? First democratically elected communist government in Kerala was dismissed. Congress president said communist parties wouldn't be allowed to participate in general elections. Stanley Woopert's book 9 Hours to Rama was banned. The book Chandra Mohini was banned. Audrey Menon's The Ramayana was banned. Campbell's The Heart of India was banned. Koestler's The Lotus and the Robot was banned. Import of any newspaper that undermined friendly relations. No, I need to go on. I need to go on because this rubbish fake narrative needs to be busted right here and right now. Flischner's Aisha was banned. Bertrand Russell's Unarmed Victory was banned. Robson's film 9 Hours to Rama was banned. Sadhnui's Markane Somnath was banned. Robert Taylor's The Dark Urge was banned. Selling Lady Chatelier's Lover was banned. The book What Has Religion Done for Mankind was banned. Ratnawak's Bhupat Singh was banned. Import of any obscene drawing or painting was banned. Mrinal Sen's film Neel Akshar Niche was banned. Menon's Rama Retold was banned. Tony Hagen's book Nepal was banned. The RSS organizer was censored. Its publishers prosecuted. Film Gokur Shankar was banned. Godse's testimony was banned. Goswami's film Rumi was banned. Historian Dharampal was jailed and criticized for Nehru for Indo-China War. Releasing the film 1962 war film Bhool Na Jana was blocked. Pandit Rajendra Prasad's speech was barred from distribution. Film Jharna was banned. Draconian press objectionable ban was passed. Columnist Vivek was fired. His column critical of Nehru discontinued. HT editor Durga Das was fired. His column critical of the Nehru family discontinued. Congress leaders demanding Nehru's resignation were arrested and jailed. Ads to Times of India was discontinued for speaking against government policy. Magazine Crossroads was banned. Play Nigame Communistike was banned. Its actors arrested. Hindi film songs were banned from being played in the AIR. Congress demanded a ban on iconic film Parasakti. Film Nastik was banned. Wuppat pop music was banned from AIR. People's Theatre Association was banned. Play Hariganaz Master was banned. Film Ganga Jamna was blocked. Sarat Chandra Chattopadhyay's play Mahesh was banned. Tagore's play Gora was banned. Balraj Sahni's play Jadoo Ki Kursi was banned. Tagore's play Bharat Sirjan was banned. Paradeep film song was deleted. 2 songs from Fir Subah Hogi were banned. Harmonium was banned. This is Jawaharlal Nehru, the paragon of freedom of speech and liberty. Is there anything left to be said? If it is, I pass it on to Sai.
क्या बात है चलिए शुरू कर दे.
This is the Sri Ram College, right? Yeah. Jai Sri Ram. Right. The fact that the Congress has been in power for a longer period of time, ask any student of constitutional law. Almost every decision on free speech involves a clampdown on free speech by Congress-ruled governments, either at the state or the center. So at the very least, the Congress must take a look at its own history before it starts pontificating to the rest. And you're certainly in no position to pontificate today. When all the information is out in the public domain through the social media, people have access to judgments, people have access to decisions, file noting, so on and so forth. You're in no position to pontificate. To ape him, 30 seconds. Yes? So I would only request you to ask yourself only one thing. Self-regulation in India is a non-existing word. It's a non-existing concept. There's not a single body that can be trusted to regulate itself. I say this as much of the judiciary when it comes to its collegium system, and I say this as much of the media. Now, on the point that Mr. Kulkarni raised, that the government is thinking of setting up a center which can crack down on fake news. The Press Guild does nothing. The Press Council of India does nothing. No action has been taken against any organization or any portal or, let's say, individual journalist for their direct role in, let's say, spreading or manufacturing fake news. What are we supposed to do? You can't go to a court asking for directions against a private party in a writ petition. So what do you do then? The government has the task. You know why? Because if fake news starts on WhatsApp, particularly in the context of riots or any kind of communal violence, so to speak, and let's assume that the trigger is a lie, it falls upon the government to have a mechanism to actually trace that lie back and also perhaps nip it at the bud. So if the government were to actually go against all kinds of news, that's a different issue. But to say that the government doesn't even have the right to go after fake news when self-regulation as a concept has completely failed in this country, I'm sorry to say, what are we really batting for? This is exactly what happens when you choose to go after every policy initiative merely because it's the BJP at the helm or the Congress at the helm without asking what is right and what is wrong.
समझ रहे हो? समझ रहे हो आप?
I thought if you give peanuts, you get monkeys. But I've suddenly realized they need bananas. That's gorillas. That's terrible. That's a lot of power, but not a lot of thought. Frankly, you needed a serious discussion about foreign media and Indian media. What we got a serious discussion is about Congress and the BJP, both being very bad. I don't know if they were here saying that go for Aam Aadmi Party or something else. I'm not very clear about that.
The question is who started it?